been so long. I went on a little hiatus. I am on my way to Get Miguel. I wanted to come on and make a quick video since I haven't came on. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties with my recording equipment. My Canon is fine. I have a Canon T3i. And someone asked me what kind of editing software do I use. And I'm like, I just downloaded Final Cut Pro X. But before I was using iMovie. So I have officially been upgraded to Final Cut Pro X, which I'm not going to use until I get my recording instrument, which is my Canon, back to par. I'm supposed to be well, the Canon is not the problem. It's my SD cards, the things that go inside, the memory cards. My son chewed one up like a piece of candy. I had two 32 gig ones. And my son chewed one up like a piece of candy. And the other one, when I put it into my Mac, it is saying, like, to download the information that's on it, it's saying that the card is full. And there's nothing on the card. It's completely empty. So I think I'm going to have to purchase another memory card for the camera. I have so much to tell you, ladies. It's so much that has happened, and I have been MIA for the purpose of the camera being not working. But I'm recording from my iPhone 6 right now. So if it's a little shaky, it's because the dock is in the car and I'm driving. So I apologize now. What I want to talk to you guys about is just like updating you on what's going on with me. I'll talk about Amia first and like what's going on with that. And honestly, since my last video, my emotions has been like this, guys. Like, I'm crying so much. I have cried just like in the last 2 weeks since, well, my daughter just turned 6 months on the 12th. She passed away June 12th, and December 12th was her 6-month Angelversary. So I have been a little bit of an emotional wreck. I have been crying so much. I would say like more than 10 times a day. It's not like long cries, it's just random short cries, like grief burst. And I have been literally all over the place, guys. I exposed myself like 2 weeks before. Like, we were looking for a urn for my daughter, which we found one, and because we had an urn, but it was a generic plastic urn they give you, and we just covered it with her blankie that she was wrapped in when she was born. And I wanted something more permanent, more official, so we had been looking for an urn, and we found one. It's antique urn. It's very nice. It's a very pretty black urn. I'll put a picture in here somewhere for it. If you follow me on Instagram or you're on the YouTube to Facebook group, then you've already seen it. But I'm gonna put a picture in here somewhere about it or for it. But 2 weeks before I changed her urn, I opened the plastic urn, and that was the worst decision I made. I mean, at the point I was anticipating these 2 weeks, so I was anticipating the 12th, and I opened her urn, and that was the worst thing I could have did. You know what I mean? Before I opened the urn, I had been sleeping with her urn every morning. When my husband leaves for work, I would sleep with her urn. I know that sounds weird, but that was comforting for me, to sleep with my daughter's urn in the morning for like an hour or two. And I just found myself like holding her and crying all the time. Like I was in a really low place, and I missed her so much that I found myself sleeping with her urn, constantly holding it. And then one morning I woke up and opened the urn, and that was the worst decision I had ever made. I literally cried for hours straight because I couldn't believe my big baby, like, she was a big girl, and she was so much, she was so large and so plump and so fat, and it hurt me because my big old daughter, my fat little butterfly, was reduced to this little bag of ashes, and that killed me inside. Like, I could not wrap my head around it, and it hurt so much seeing that this is what was left. This is the remains of my daughter, and it killed me inside. And that was a bad decision. So I think that spun me into this 2-week craziness where I've been crying off and on. And a few days ago we switched her urn, and it looks good. And when I switched the urn, so I saw her ashes for the second time, I had no emotions. I don't know if that's normal, but I had no emotions, like, as we were switching it. And my husband was really emotional, and because it was his first time ever seeing her in that state. And my husband was exposed to my daughter more than I was, because I was under anesthetic when she was born. So when she passed away, I didn't know until 3.5 hours, 4 hours later that she had passed. But my husband was there. He held her. He watched them clean her. He watched them when they were taking the pictures of her and things like that. And he held her a lot more. He was exposed to her a lot more. I only got 2 to 3 hours with my daughter. And then we saw her again at the viewing at the mortuary. But I only got a few hours with her, like, to hold her and caress her and, like, love up on her. But that's what we did for Amia, and to honor her and to put her in her final resting place, like, so that we wouldn't have to she wouldn't be in a plastic urn, you know. So we moved her into her urn, which I love, and I was unemotional, and Richard was just, he's been having like a bad few days actually. So I don't know, it kind of hit him hard once he saw her remains out of the urn. I also am doing okay with TTCing. As you guys know, I've said that I'm not going to try not to prevent. And because of the positives that I got 4 positives on the last video that I made, or 2 videos ago that I made. And then I got a false positive a few days ago. Or maybe like a week and a half ago, I got a false positive. And it sucks because I keep getting false positive. And I took another 2 tests, and the line was dark as the controlled line the same day. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, so the next day, but early in the morning. And my husband was like, we're celebrating that we're pregnant. And I go to the doctor, and the doctor tells me, oh, it's a false positive. They did an ultrasound on my stomach and says there's no sac, there's nothing. It's no placenta, there's nothing. You're not pregnant. They did a blood draw on me, didn't come back positive, and he said that it could be residual hormones still in my body from my loss 6 months ago. So first, I hadn't heard of that, but he said that it's common with people who just have children. And he said because of the loss, my metabolism is so slow that there could possibility of residual HCG in my system. So there was a possibility of HCG still lingering in my system. But that's pretty much it. I'm not preventing. I'm not trying. I just want to give myself a break because I was so hurt about these false positives that it kind of got me down a little bit. So we haven't been trying, but we haven't been preventing. I'm cycle day 8 today. I'm taking folic acid 1 a day. The doctor told me to stop taking my prenatals. He's like, you haven't lost any weight. And I said, I don't know why. He said, are you still taking your prenatals? And I told him yes. And he said, stop taking your prenatals because they are making you hold water weight. and he gave me 3 HCTZs, which are hydrochlorothiazide water pills, and told me to take those too. So I'm taking the hydrochlor or HCTZ. I'm only taking one of them. He said 1 a week, so that's what I'm doing. And I'm taking folic acid. I'm taking 1-a-days gummies now. And I'm taking CoQ10, which was recommended by Kay. Hi, Kay. And that's what I'm doing, and that's it. I'm not OPKing. I'm only temping, taking those 3 pills, and that is it. I don't check my cervical fluid. I'm not doing anything because I do not want to stress myself out. I have an appointment on the 23rd because the doctor would like to see if he could try maybe Clomid or Provera with me to see if because I told him I was concerned that I may not be ovulating on my own. I get cramps, and it's because I got pregnant so easily with Amia and Miguel that it's concerning me that I'm not pregnant now. So I asked him, I wanted to see, I have an appointment to see if I'm ovulating, and if I'm not ovulating, then I would like to try, or he said that he was going to try testers, like 1 cycle testers for either Provera or Clomid. So we will see what happens with that. There's not really much going on other than that, because I'm not actively trying to conceive. There's not a lot to pass to you guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't really have too much to say, but I am excited for the new year. I'm praying for babies and rainbow babies to our little TTC community, and I'm praying that we all get our BFPs next year, and we're all pregnant next year. At least by next year. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope you ladies are doing well. I did have a question. I wanted to know what you guys did for the women who have lost and decided to cremate or have the baby cremated. What did you do with your remains? Did you scatter them? Are they in an urn? Where do you keep your remains? I'm just curious because we're kind of in limbo about where to put Amia. Right now she's in our room on our entertainment center, but we're thinking about making a little memorial for her with her 3 pictures, 1 picture of her and her hand prints and her footprint in a row, in black and white. So, and maybe I'll like light some candles. I have an idea of what I want to do. I'm going to put a picture of it in here. But I have an idea of what I want to do to memorialize her and to put her urn in a place. So we'll see. I'll show you the picture, and then let me know what you guys have done or you're thinking about doing with the remains.